Love English Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Love English Podcast, your favorite place to learn English for the real world. I'm your host, Leo.
And I'm Mia. It's great to be with you all again. Leo, I have a question for you. Do you enjoy eating out?
I love it. Trying new restaurants is one of my favorite hobbies. There's nothing like exploring new cuisines and enjoying a meal you didn't have to cook yourself. How about you?
I like it too, but I have to be honest, sometimes it makes me a little nervous. It's not the eating part, it's the interacting part. Especially when I'm in a new place or a very fancy restaurant. I worry about saying the wrong thing, not understanding the waiter, or even just how to get a table properly.
You have just perfectly introduced our topic for today, and you are not alone in feeling that way. So today, we are going to break down the entire process of how to order food at a restaurant from start to finish. We'll cover everything, leaving no stone unturned, so our listeners can walk into any restaurant and feel completely confident.
That sounds incredibly useful. It's one of those life skills you absolutely need. So where do we begin? Does it start before we even get to the restaurant?
It often does with making a reservation. For popular or high-end restaurants, especially on weekend nights like Friday or Saturday, you can't just show up. It's a good idea to call ahead or book a table online. Many restaurants use apps like OpenTable or Resi.
Okay, so let's say I decide to call. What exactly do I say? Role play with me. You're the restaurant. I'm calling you.
Perfect. The phone rings. Good afternoon. You've reached the English Grill. This is Leo speaking. How may I help you?
Hello. I'd like to make a reservation, please.
Certainly. For how many people?
For 2 people.
And what day and time were you looking for?
For this Friday at 7 p.m.
Okay, now I check my book. Let me see. I'm very sorry, but we're fully booked at 7 p.m. on Friday. We do have an opening at 6 p.m. or one at 8:30 p.m. Would either of those times work for you?
So I have to negotiate. I could say, 8:30 is a bit late. Is there any chance you have a wait list for the 7 p.m. slot?
An excellent question. As the host, I'd say, we don't have a wait list, but you are welcome to try walking in. We do save a few tables for walk-ins, though I can't guarantee a specific wait time. So, you see, it's a little conversation. But let's imagine we got the table. I'd say, all right, I have you down for a table for 2 at 8:30 p.m. this Friday. May I have a name for the reservation?
Yes, the name is Mia.
And a phone number, just in case? After you give the number, I'd say, perfect. We'll see you on Friday at 8:30, Mia. And that's it.
That's a great breakdown. But let's explore the other scenario. We decide to be adventurous and just walk in without a reservation.
The walk-in, a brave move on a weekend. So we arrive. The host at the front stand will greet us. They'll say, good evening, welcome.
And I say, hi, a table for 2, please.
Perfect, simple and direct. The host will then ask the crucial question, do you have a reservation? You'd say no. Then they might look at their seating chart and say one of 2 things. The good news, all right, we can seat you right now. Would you prefer a table or a booth?
Ooh, a booth. A booth is the long bench-style seating, right? It feels a bit more private. I like booths.
So I'd say a booth would be great, thank you.
Or they might ask, inside or on the patio? Patio is the outdoor seating area. But what if they say the bad news? They might say, unfortunately, it's going to be about a 45-minute wait for a table.
45 minutes? So what are my options then? You can say, okay, we'll wait. They'll take your name and number and text you when the table is ready. Or you can ask, is there any seating at the bar? Often the bar area is first come, first served, meaning if you see an empty seat, you can take it. Or you can decide it's not worth it and say, okay, thank you anyway, we might try somewhere else.
So many possibilities. But let's assume we got our table. We sit down, the host gives us menus and says, your server will be right with you. Now what?
Now the server or waiter arrives. They'll introduce themselves. Good evening, my name is Leo and I'll be your server tonight. Can I start you folks off with something to drink?
Okay, the drink order. Let's start with water, because this always has a follow-up question I'm not ready for.
You're right. They'll often ask, would you like still, sparkling, or tap water? Let's break that down. Tap water is the regular water from the faucet. It's free, and in most places in the US, it's perfectly fine to drink. This is what most people get.
So to get that, I just say, we'll just have tap water for now. Thank you.
Precisely. Still water is bottled water with no bubbles, like Evian. Sparkling water is carbonated water, like Perrier. These you have to pay for. So unless you specifically want fancy bottled water, tap water is your phrase.
Now, what about other drinks? Let's say I want to order a soda.
You'd use one of our magic phrases. I'll have a Diet Coke, please. Or, could I get an iced tea? A quick note on soft drinks in the US, they almost always come with free refills. The server will just bring you a new one when yours is empty.
That's a great tip. What about something more complicated, like wine?
Ah, wine. You can order it by the glass or by the bottle. If you just want one glass, you look at the Wines by the Glass section of the menu. You can ask for advice. I'm not sure which red wine to get. I usually like something fruity but not too sweet. What would you recommend?
I like that, asking for a recommendation. It shows you trust their expertise. Okay, so we've ordered drinks. The server brings them and says, have you decided on an appetizer or do you need a few more minutes? What's an appetizer, and do we have to order one?
An appetizer, sometimes called a starter, is a small dish to begin the meal. You don't have to order one, but it's common to share one or two with the table to eat while you're waiting for your main meal. Let's say we decide to get one.
Okay, let's look at the appetizer menu. I see calamari, spinach dip, and bruschetta. Let's order. You be the server.
Are you ready to order a starter?
Yes, we'd like to share the spinach dip, please.
Excellent choice. I'll put that order in right away. Now, while we wait for that, we look at the main part of the menu, the main course, or a fancier word for it, the entree. This is where the real decisions happen.
And this is where the questions begin. What if the menu says chef's special catch of the day? What does that even mean?
It literally means the catch of the day is the fresh fish that the chef got from the market that morning. You would ask, what is the catch of the day? The server might say, today's catch is a pan-seared halibut served on a bed of wild rice with grilled asparagus.
That sounds delicious. You mentioned pan-seared and grilled. These are cooking methods I see on menus. Can you explain a few?
Of course. Grilled means cooked on a grill, giving it smoky lines. Roasted means cooked in the oven. Fried means cooked in hot oil. Steamed means cooked with steam, very healthy. Sautéed means quickly cooked in a pan with a little bit of butter or oil. Understanding these words helps you imagine the dish.
That's super helpful. Now I have my eye on the steak, but there are different kinds, and it asks me how I want it cooked. This is the ultimate test.
It is. Let's break down the how do you want your steak cooked question. This is about doneness. The options from least cooked to most cooked are rare, red cool center, medium rare, red warm center. This is what most steak lovers and chefs recommend. Medium, pink hot center. Medium well, mostly brown, just a little bit of pink. And well done, cooked completely through, no pink. Ordering a steak well done might make a chef cry, but it's your choice.
I think I'd be a medium person. So let's place our order. You're the server.
All right, folks, are we ready for the main course?
Yes, I think so. I have a question about the pasta dish. Does it have meat in it? I'm a vegetarian.
A very important question. So I, the server, would say, the marinara sauce is vegetarian, but the bolognese sauce contains beef. We can make any of our pasta dishes with the marinara. See how asking a question gets you what you want?
It does. So I'll say, great. In that case, I'll have the fettuccine with the marinara sauce, please.
Perfect. And for you, sir?
Now you order your steak.
I'll have the New York strip steak. The server will then ask the key question, and how would you like that cooked? I'll reply, medium rare, please. The server will then say, great, that comes with French fries. Is that okay?
And this is where substitutions come in, right? What if you wanted something healthier than fries?
Exactly. I could say, would it be possible to substitute the fries for the steamed vegetables? The server might say yes, of course, or they might say, yes, there's a $2 upcharge for that. An upcharge is a small extra fee.
This is so detailed. What about allergies? That's even more serious than a preference.
It's a matter of safety. You must be very direct. When you first sit down, you should tell the server, "Hi, before we order, I just need to let you know I have a severe peanut allergy. Could you please help me find some safe options on the menu?" You must be your own advocate.
So we've ordered, the food arrives, but what if something is wrong? My pasta is cold, or your steak is well done instead of medium rare. This is the most awkward situation. How do you complain politely?
It is awkward, but you have the right to get what you paid for. The key is to be polite and calm. You wait for the server to come back and ask, "How is everything tasting?" Or you catch their eye. You say, "Excuse me, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I ordered my steak medium rare and I'm afraid this one is well done."
So you state the problem clearly without blaming them. What happens next?
A good server will immediately apologize and offer to fix it. They'll say, "Oh, I am so sorry about that. Let me get you a new one right away." They will take the incorrect dish and have the kitchen remake it. It's uncomfortable for a moment, but it's better than eating a $40 steak you don't enjoy.
That's very true. Okay, so let's assume everything was perfect. We finished our main course, the server clears the plates and asks, "Can I interest you in any dessert or coffee?"
If you're full, you can say, "Oh, we're stuffed, thank you, just the check, please." But if you have a sweet tooth, you say, "Could we see the dessert menu?" Let's say we order a slice of cheesecake to share.
We'll share the chocolate cheesecake, please. So we eat our dessert. The meal was a huge success. Now, the final step, paying the bill.
You need to signal to the server that you're ready. A simple, "Excuse me, whenever you have a moment, we're ready for the check," works perfectly.
The server brings the check, usually in a small black folder called a check presenter. And now, tipping. Let's explain the culture of tipping in the United States very, very clearly.
This is critical. In many countries, tipping is optional or not done at all. In the United States, it is not optional. It is an expected and essential part of the server's income, as they are paid a much lower base wage. The standard tip for decent to good service is 15 to 20% of the pre-tax bill.
So if the bill is $50, a standard tip would be between $7.50 and $10. What if you want to pay with a credit card?
You place your credit card in the folder. The server takes it and brings back a receipt for you to sign. On that receipt, there will be a line for the tip and a line for the total. You write in the tip amount, add it to the original bill to get the new total, and then sign it.
And what if we want to split the check?
A very common request. You can ask when you ask for the check, "Could we have the check, please? And would it be possible to split it in half? Or if you want to pay for your individual items, could we pay separately?" Most modern systems can handle this easily.
What if one person wants to treat the other?
A lovely gesture. That person would say to their friend, "Don't worry, I'll get this," or "It's on me." And they would quietly give the server their credit card.
Wow, from making a reservation to calculating the tip, I feel like we've covered a 6-week course in one podcast.
That was the goal, to give our listeners a complete guide so they never have to feel that nervousness Mia described at the beginning. It's all about knowing the phrases, understanding the process, and having the confidence to ask questions.
It really is, and practice makes perfect, so we encourage all our listeners to go out and use these new skills. Thank you for joining us on this very detailed episode of the Love English podcast.
We'll talk to you in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Love English Podcast. Remember, every minute you spend learning English is an investment in your future. Keep learning and see you in the next episode.